People are moving with this vibe, right? People are moving with this vibe. People are moving with this attitude. People are moving with this energy. People are moving with this intention on the day to day. People are living life with this intention. And you can see it, whatever it is, right? There's no judgment on it. It's just a vibe and an intention and an energy that people are moving with, right? So they're waking up every single day, making these moves, making these decisions. Now, what is this vibe? What is this move? What is this feeling, right? What is this mood that I'm talking about? And if you look around, is most people have already accepted this is their reality of their situation, without any change, without any ability to make an adjustment, without no shot to do something new. So they're living life in this pattern. They created this life. They accept the environment they're in. They've accepted the money they're making. They've accepted the people that are around them. They've accepted just, their body, the way they look, everything about them they've accepted, right? And because of that, they're living life assuming that there's just no chance for transformation. Believing that there's no shot, right? Because that's what they want to do. They want to believe. I want to believe that maybe one day things will change. Maybe, just maybe one day things will change. That is that mentality, right? Maybe one day things will change. But in actuality, if you look at people's moves, most people already have stamped it. This is just the way it is. Now I'm looking for a way to live within this misery or this limitation. Why is that? Why is that? Why does one just say, hey, you know what? I'm done. There's no shot for me. I don't know. And because I don't know, I live a life of not knowing. I don't educate myself. I don't decide to, take care of my body and mind. My mind is sluggish. My body's sluggish, right? I hang around lost and confused people. I hang around people that pulling me in multiple directions. I watch the news. I watch what is being said from lost and confused people. So that means I'm consuming and learning from lost and confused people. It's like, if you look around, it's this vibe and this energy and this mood. Like I say, this mood that the people are just walking like they have no shot. Now, is that you? Because as I say this, does the shoe fit for you? Because the beautiful thing about it is, if it doesn't fit you, you can see it around you. And then you can see why the environment you're in is kind of holding you down. You can see that the position you put yourself in is causing you more pain. You can see that the position that you are in, that it doesn't have to actually be this way. And what inspired this message is me being in the Bronx at this moment in time, right? A lot of things happening right now. This is my old neighborhood. This is where I grew up, right? I'm on my way to Connecticut right now. So being around my parents' neighborhood, I'm actually closer to Connecticut than where I live in South Jersey. And I'm seeing people walk, and I'm seeing the environment. I'm seeing, seeing the same people, similar faces. And I'm looking around. A lot of things are happening in front of me. People are walking by, the cars are moving, things like that. And I'm like, wow, this is an environment of people, for the most part, that have allowed their life. This is just the way it is, right? What do you want us to do, Anthony? This is just the way it is. This is we were born like this. We were in this position. You don't understand. What do you want us to do? And it's just this low quality mentality that if I would have accepted, then I would have been in this same position, right? I would have been in this same place. I would have been in the same place for the last 30 years of my life, 29 years of my life. I would have been in the same position, thinking that I have no shot, right? Thinking there's no chance, thinking so small, so limited, and all of these fears I would have created myself, right? Because just think about it. Can you imagine this? I don't take care of my body. I don't take care of my mind, right? I'm hanging around misery because misery loves company. I'm watching the news that puts out fear into everybody's minds. Then I'm learning education from people who are lost and confused. Then I'm, let's say I'm working this 9 to 5 job where it's just, there's no opportunity here besides just work and pay your bills and go home. And then what? And then what? And then what? And then what? Right? And then what? How does one get out of that cycle? How does one get out of that environment? How does one get out of that? Right? How do we get out of that? How do we get out of that position? How does it make us feel when we see the reality of our situation? How does that make us feel? How does that make us, does that inspire us? Does that discourage us? Does that make us feel like, oh, we're not good enough? How does that make us feel? Right? Because for me, I saw it as opportunity. For me, I saw it as a way of making an adjustment. For me, I saw it like, okay, this is my moment, right? I got to get clear. I got to become aware. I got to do everything the opposite of what everyone else is doing. I got to do everything the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Because if you look around, most people have just accepted the reality of their situation without an adjustment, meaning accepted as in there's no shot, right? There's no chance for change or nothing like that. I have to do the complete opposite. That means the people I talk to, I got to be mindful. The foods I eat, I got to be mindful. What I view as opportunity, I got to be mindful. How I treat my body and mind, I got to be mindful. I got to be very aware of those things. Because if I don't, I will only be searching for the greatest escapes in life. And that is what most people are doing. Allowing fear to consume their minds and searching for the greatest escapes in life. Because that brings some sort of hope. That brings some sort of distraction. That brings some sort of pleasure for the moment, right? Because think about it. If I have no intention to make a move or make no intention to get out this situation, if I have no intention because this is just what I feel is what's going on, if I have no intention, then what happens? I'm searching for the greatest escapes. So this is why, fam, I say this. For those of you who are listening in, whatever position you're in now, just know it doesn't have to be that way. If you're not happy with the position you're in now, or you're not, you're in this limited mentality. You wake up in conflict every day. Your mindset is being pulled in multiple directions. You're lost, confused, unaware. You wake up feeling sluggish. Just know there's changes that you have to make that will be extremely, extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable because if you grew up in an environment like I did, that environment does not understand the type of moves I'm talking about. It just does not speak that language. It doesn't go in that direction. It just accepts whatever's most comfortable, what is most easy, instead of going towards freedom. And I'm talking psychological freedom. I'm talking about freedom in the mind, freedom of the known, right? Jumping into the unknown. To go that direction, it's going to take you knowing one thing, that you have full control over how you respond to whatever comes your way. And if you just knew that alone, through all the difficulty, through all the unknowns, through all the fears, through all this stuff that goes on in your mind, you would say, I have full control over how I respond to whatever comes my way. And that right there, fam, that right there is the only thing that I, to get out this environment that I grew up in, to get out this environment, the education systems here, the opportunities here, or to get out of this environment in general, to get out of this, I had to 100% bet on myself and say, yo, this is all temporary. This is not forever. I'm going to jump into the unknown in all areas of life. Because most people don't, and most people won't. Because what they prioritize, what they've been conditioned to think, how they just accept it, how they justify their situation, because it's comfortable, it's easy, and also it looks like it's almost impossible. Who do you talk to? Let me ask you this. Who do you talk to? Who do you talk to, right? Who do you talk to? Who do you talk to? Who do you associate with? Who do you, hey, who do you like have conversations with? When that human being or that person is in the same environment as you and they won't understand because it's almost impossible to understand. How? You got to actually, one, be interested. Two, you actually have to go all in. But for most people, they allow the environment to consume them. They allow the environment to consume them. So now if you got to go the opposite direction, and bet on yourself and jump into the unknown while everyone around you, 99.99999% of everyone you see around you is unwilling to do that or don't understand that, what do you do? What do you do? Right? How do you bet on yourself? How do you go all in? And most people are unwilling to do that. And that's something that I was willing to do because I was willing to die in the process of freedom than live in misery through comfort and security, right? Through fear. Accepting misery through fear. I'm willing to die for freedom psychologically, meaning my going through the process of it, betting on myself, taking 3 steps back to take 10 steps forward, breaking this situation I'm in, breaking this state of being, this environment, breaking it, making an adjustment. I'm willing to die for psychological freedom. I'm willing to die to understand myself, the process of that. Then live in misery and just accept and live within the limitations of the fears that I've been conditioned with and the fears that I created myself. And that right there is much more interesting to me than just accepting and living in fear, right? So this vibe, this energy, this mood, this demeanor, this way of being, this limited outlook on life, this limited mentality, straight fear, straight no shot, no chance way of being, that hope becomes more important than actually doing, that wishing becomes more important than actually planning and going for it. Those things become more important because they're more pleasurable for people. But doing is like, I ain't got no shot. I ain't got no chance. This is what people say to themselves. I don't have a shot. I don't have a chance. I don't have any way of doing this, right? And that's what they say to themselves. But I promise you this, fam. Promise you this. You go all in on you without hesitation. You go all in on you. You put in the work. You go all in on the mind. You look to understand yourself in a serious way. You go 100% and you go beyond 100%. There's no way that you're going to lose. There's no way you're going to lose. There's no way that you'll just be like, oh, like that. I regret that. There's no way that you would say you regret going beyond 100%. What people do is they go 40%. They go 30% and saying, and they call that trying, right? So they call 30%, 40% of their energy, effort, time, resources. They call that trying. Hey, I am trying, which means I'm only doing 30%, 40%. That's all I'm doing. But they're unwilling to go all in. If you go all in and you go beyond 100%, I guarantee you won't regret it. You take 3 steps back, you bet on yourself to take 10 steps forward. You go all in. I guarantee you won't regret it. Why is that? Because now your mind is in a different place. Your mind will say this: it doesn't matter what happens. What matters most is how I respond. Failure is the greatest teacher of them all, right? Am I going to lose? Absolutely. That's part of the process. Am I going to be afraid? Absolutely, because I'm breaking away through deep levels of conditioning. Absolutely. Can we acknowledge the fact that it's hard? Absolutely. Let's acknowledge the fact that it's hard. I've been raised a certain way. I built my life up to this point with so much responsibilities. I built my life up to this point with so much things that's going on in my life. How do I reposition myself? How do I destroy this position and recreate something new? How do I do that? Well, you're going to have to take 3 steps back. You're going to have to destroy this position you're in, take 3 steps back to take 10 steps forward. Because if you don't do that, then what are you doing? You're accepting the misery. You're staying in the same place. So now you don't want to get rid of this position, but this position has been causing you the most pain. And then check this. You're only giving 20% of your energy, 30% of your efforts, 30% of your energy into what? Being the best version of yourself, getting healthy, financial education, freedom in the mind, understanding the problems in the mind. You're talking about giving 30%, expecting change, expecting some sort of result, living within your fears, not betting on yourself, expecting something out of that. I'm going to dip my toe in the water. I'm going to put my big toe in the water and then say, I tried to get in. I'm going to dip my big toe in the water and I'm going to tell everybody that I've tried to get in. There is no trying. You either do or you don't. There is no trying. You either go in 100%, you either jump in 100% or you don't do it at all, right? So now it's this crossroads that we have, right? It's interesting because one who has already convinced themselves that this is just the way it is, the thought of it is not even, there is no thought of going all in. There is no thought of just repositioning yourself. It's just extreme limitations and fear, right? So now the fantasy becomes a way of life. The hoping, the wishing, the fucking, all the things that make it sound like that says one day that you're going to do it. One day you're going to do it. That becomes more interesting because I have no intention to actually go out and make it happen. The one day sounds better than day one. For most people, the one day sounds better than day one. Because day one means the ending of the known. Day one means the change of a routine. Day one means repositioning yourself. Day one means not being around this circle. Day one means not doing this stuff that causes me the most pain. Day one means putting an end to the things that I run to for psychological comfort and security. Day one means I'm going all in. I'm jumping into the water. I'm not dipping my toe in it. I'm jumping into it. I'm all in. That's day one. Now, how do you have day one when you're surrounded by a bunch of one days? Think about it. How do I have day one where every conversation I have, every person I see, every move I make, everywhere I look is surrounded by a bunch of one days? One day, right? One day. Don't go too hard. It's all good. Getting advice from people in the same environment as you. This is the environment I grew up in. It's a bunch of one days. A bunch of visualization with no moves. A bunch of hoping and wishing and just stay strong. How do you have conversations with a bunch of one days and expect to have your day one? Right? Meaning starting today, what you got to do is understand one thing. That the position you are in, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. And it's easier to get lost. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to get confused. It's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get all these things. It's easy because you're being influenced by a bunch of one days. One day it's going to happen. One day you're going to see, and then you surround yourself with this. You surround yourself in these environments, in these groups, with people who are saying one day. My mom was telling me that this morning, right? Anthony, keep bringing awareness. I see many suffering, youth mostly. Empower yourself and strength comes within. My mom was telling this one day. She goes, Anthony, you know what you should do? You should talk to teenagers. That's what she said. You should talk to teenagers because teenagers have been suffering. Teenagers are afraid. Teenagers are going through this. Teenagers are doing drugs. Teenagers. I said, Mom, but where do you think these teenagers are getting from? Right? What are they getting it from? I said, Mom, where do you think they're getting it from? Do you think they're getting it from what? You think the environment is a healthy environment? Do you think that those before them are leading the way? Let's look at the parents, right? Let's look at the leaders. Are the leaders leading the way? And that's what's interesting. Now, this is beautiful if you're a parent because you can see this and bring awareness to this. Wow, this is beautiful if you're a parent because at this very moment, everything can change if you can see, wait a minute, what is my generation doing, right? Talking about with the teenage, what are we doing? Are we leading by example, right? When they see us, how do they view us, right? Are we teaching people how to think, or we're just telling them what to think? And that's what's interesting. And I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, people are telling their kids how to think. Do this, don't do that. Do this, don't do that. Do this, or sleep at this time. Do that. But what about, no, I'm saying what to think. They're telling them what to think. Do this. But how about how to think? Are we teaching our youth how to think? I did a talk in my old high school. And I was telling them, yo, think for yourself. Learn how to think. Learn how to think. Because if you can learn how to think, you would see that making these stupid decisions, it doesn't make sense, right? So there's a lot of people who are lost and confused, but it starts with the leaders, right? What is my leaders doing? I'm 6 years old. I'm 10 years old. I'm 14 years old, 15 years old. I'm looking at those around me. I'm looking at the leaders in my life, my parents, my mom, my dad. What are they doing? Are they betting on themselves? Are they showing up for themselves? Are they making the right decision? Because if they're not doing it, then I'm not going to do it because I'm watching them, right? So then that starts the foundation. That starts the foundation, right? That starts the foundation of the mind. I'm watching my leaders first, and then I branch off, and now I live life with the foundation in my mind. Where, okay, I've been told what to think, not how to think. So now I'm 18, 21 years old, 24 years old, pushed into a world not knowing how to think for myself. Because I've been told what to do for so long that I just don't understand. So now I'm gullible. Now I buy into things. Now I'm making these decisions. Check it. I'm making these decisions based on what I was told, but never understanding why. Hey, do this. Okay, now I'm in this world, not knowing how to think for myself. I'm programmed to just do. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, it's not just about the youth. It's educating the leaders so the leaders can educate the youth. It's not just directly talking to them. It's talking to the creators. It's talking to those who have kids and don't understand the responsibility of actually having one, right? And this is what I'm saying. How can we talk to everybody? The leaders in life, the parents, the uncles, the grandpops, all of that is talking to them and saying, yo, listen, man, teaching people how to think. It's more important than teaching them what to think or what to do or showing them what to do. And that's something that will completely transform everything. Here's how you look. It doesn't matter what happens. What matters most is how you respond. Do what's most healthy for your body and mind. Does it make sense to do what's most healthy for the body and mind? Not just saying, eat your vegetables, eat this. Well, does it make sense to do this? If you feel sluggish and confused, what does that mean? If I'm sluggish, confused, you eat this, it's pleasurable for the moment, but then you feel sluggish and confused, and then you don't want to show up for yourself the next day. Does that make sense? What makes more sense? Well, this one. Well, there you go. Right? You guys are feeling this live? Give me some fire emojis if you're on here. First of all, if you're on here and you're loving this live right now, give me some fire emojis below. Fam, give me some fire emojis. Give me some fire emojis in the comments below. Amen. I grew with your mom, and I get what you're saying, but you can make a difference. I understand. You can make a difference too. I get it. I can make a difference, but you can make a difference too. Parenting can be scary for many because then when one becomes responsible, most don't want that responsibility. 100%. I agree. Most don't want the responsibility. They just want to be told what to do. And again, that's why, I'm only talking to the few on here. I'm not doing the national tour on why everybody should take responsibility when most people don't. Most people don't because they just accept it. Give me some fire emojis, fam. I'm still watching the comments. I don't have kids, and I 100% agree. You don't have kids, but you are a kid, right? Think about it. You have parents, you've had parents, you were born, you've had leaders in your life, and you followed those leaders, which led you up to the point where you are now. It was the foundation. You don't have to have a kid. You know how to be a kid, right? You know what it's like to be a kid. You know what it's like to be raised and be told certain things or why you are in this position today. It starts within the environment first, and then you take that environment, right? You take that environment, and then now you're viewing the world through the eyes of this environment, and then you learn along the way, right? You learn through experiences. You learn through your own things. You learn through your own level of awareness. Now it's your responsibility to see that. I had to break what I was learned or what I was told, right? I had to break that. I had to break what my parents told me. I stuck a lot, I hold on to a lot of certain things. However, if I were to just listen, then they would, then that's it. Then I would be in the same place that they were, right? Or they are. So I had to break out of that. Thank you for everything. I appreciate the shelter. I appreciate your effort. I appreciate everything. I gotta see things from a whole new different perspective. Thank you for the foundation. I need to build a whole new different foundation, a whole new different life with this mentality, like just a new outlook on life. So even, being a kid, you can even know, wow, I've been raised like this, or I've been told certain things, or look at the education system, look at the foods that I was eating. All these things have an impact. People don't think so, but it does. That's it. People don't reflect. That's what it's about. I think everyone needs a parenting class. I think who are you gonna get the parenting class from? A guy who's just doing it just to get a 9-to-5 job. Hey, I just want something. I need to make some money today. What do you want to do for a living? You know what? There's this class, like a parenting class. I think I'm going to get into that. All right, cool. I sign up. I sign the papers. I put the application in. The guy calls me. Hey, you willing to start Monday? Okay, what kind of kids is it? It's about 8-year-olds, 6 years old, and 14-year-old. Okay, cool, great. What's the pay? Oh, $12 an hour. Great. I go in there. I wake up early in the morning. I'm not excited. I'm like, okay, whatever. I read a handbook on, Parenting Teacher 101, teaching parenting class oh no, this is a parenting class. So it's like, so what the type of people in here? Oh, 35-year-olds, 24-year-olds, and 40-year-olds. Okay, cool. So you go in there. It's like this. This is like, who are we learning from? I'm going to go listen to a guy who doesn't want to be there. So now it's like, yo, the guy's going into this class, like the teacher doesn't even want to be there. I remember going to business class. Right? And I'm like, yo, wait, teacher, do you have a business? And they're like, no, I just read from the book. I'm like, I'm like, great. Y'all gonna learn from her y'all gonna learn from her business because she's doing it. She's doing it big. You know what I'm saying? So look, yo, like, again, it's you gotta look at the environment that you're in, right? My point being is this. My point being is this. Just my point being is this. It's understand the environment that you're in. Understand that most people are lost and confused. Understand that most people are a bunch of 1 days instead of day ones. If you can understand that, instantly you head towards a different direction. If you can understand that the conversation around you is all to protect and live within this sort of limitation and fear, if you can understand that, if you can understand that a lot of conversations you're having, the foundation of the advice that is being given is based out of fear. Fear, safe, play it safe. Do it like this. Tell them to do it like that. A lot of it is fear-based. If you can understand that, you'll be very mindful and you'll be watchful and you'll be aware of the conversations or who you're listening to, right? It's about being curious, passionately curious, and questioning certain things. Man, what is this, right? You could take that parenting class, but look at what is the foundation of the information that's being given. You can talk to your friends about whatever. You can talk to your family about whatever, but look at the foundation of the information that's being given. Where is it coming from? Right? What is it? Where is this coming from? Where did they get this information from? And why do people accept a certain vibe and a certain mood and a certain energy within a certain environment? People's moods are very limited. People's outlook on life is very limited. What they accept, what they decide to accept is very limited and very, very just small. Like it's small. Like I accept this and then it's misery and it's just small, right? You got to look at that. We got to look at that. Because then that's when, once we are aware of it, we can break away from it. We can break away from it. And we can see things clearly. So, you guys feeling this morning? Last call of action for some fire emojis. Give me some fire. Let me put some fire emojis for my own life. Fire emojis for you guys. You guys are fire in the comments today. I appreciate you guys for being on here. Give me some fire emojis. Give me some fire emojis, fam. Give me some fire emojis. If you guys are feeling this live today, if you're on here, paying attention, making moves, making adjustments, thinking about the next move, all that good stuff. I see it. I'm paying attention. I ain't leaving until I see some fire emojis. It's kind of like obligated now. People are like, I'm not really feeling it, but let me just fire emoji so you can hurry up. I'm kidding. Let me scroll up real quick before I let you guys go. Let me scroll up. All right, fam. Yo, I'm out of here. Fam. Listen, subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? Because I'm going to post this up later today. I have a huge day ahead, so this won't be out till later tonight. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website, anthonyminaya.com. Sign up for my daily journal. I call it Daily Awareness, Daily Journal. Every single day, you're going to get inspiration, awareness. You're going to be showed how to think. You're going to be questioned, right? Your mind will be questioned. Listen, if you're not subscribed to my daily journal, just $5 a month, Listen, just $5 a month. If you're not subscribed to my Patreon, you're missing out on learning how to think. It's about questioning yourself. It's about diving into things that you may overlook. It's getting you to see things from a totally different perspective. Sign up for my daily journal, anthonymanaya.com. Link is in my bio. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and have an amazing day. Love you all. Peace. Love you all. Peace. Love you all. Peace.